Is there something in my life that is a bridge back to the old life? And does that bridge need to be burned tonight? Because the message of the Lord's table is this: focus on the Lord Himself. Fellowship with others who are blood-washed believers, and forsake any idol that is between you and Jesus Christ. And that's why having the Lord's table in January has been such a vital part of the ministry of this church, because we don't want to go packing into February carrying an idol, because it's going to cause a problem in your life. It's going to cause difficulty in your life. Remember years ago, a family that was saved here in our church. They were a dear family. And as much as we counseled, as much as they'd come to church, they just had problem after problem. They had marital problem and children problems and financial problems and just no peace. I mean, just you'd go to their house and there's no peace there. There was just always this friction and this tension. And I had not specifically noticed it, but there was a shelf in their family room that was sort of their collection shelf from the trips they had taken when he was in the military overseas. And when he was in the military overseas, he had placed some idolatrous tattoos on his body, literal depictions of idols from certain islands. And you'll notice many of the tattoos, even in the modern era in America, are skulls and symbolisms that would not be Philippians 4:8 virtuous to think on. And this couple had a shelf full of these gods with the teeth and the big jaw and all these different symbolic types of idols that were from different islands where his ship had docked in the Navy. And one night, he was praying to God and asking for help. He didn't understand why, after having been saved, there was just no peace in their home. And the Lord put on his heart, as he looked up to that shelf, that everything on that shelf needed to be removed. I had not told him that. I'd not really seen that shelf. We'd always been in the living room when I talked with him. I'm sure I had preached maybe some messages like this. I don't know if it was a message or just the Spirit of God putting it on his heart. But he told me later that he took a plastic bag and he put every item from that shelf in the plastic bag. He put it in the back of his truck, went to some convenience store and threw the garbage bag in the back of a store in their dumpster. And he said, "Pastor, the very next day, things were different in our home." He said we could talk and we could have fellowship and you could feel the presence of God in our home. I'm just saying tonight, take an inventory, because a part of the purity of the table is our willingness to separate out from the idols of this world. We're here to focus on Jesus. We're here to fellowship with one another, and we're here to forsake whatever has crept in. Some of you young people are in secular college. Things that you would not have done when you were in Christian school. Now there's a kind of music. Now there's a kind of philosophy. Now there's a kind of polytheism, humanism, and it begins to affect the heart and affect the mind, and it can draw you away from a pure heart for Jesus Christ. The table is a reminder that Jesus is worthy of our total attention, and may we remember those things even tonight.